In this video, we're going to be actually covering the files or the template hierarchy, that how each and every file in that theme helps each other and support other files. So this is actually the basics of the template hierarchy of that theme. I'm just going to actually double click on this and open the Scratch theme, and here you would find the templates. Actually, this is the files hierarchy of the template Scratch theme, which contain different files. Index.php is actually the main file which contain all of the functions and functionalities which your theme or WordPress need to be powered off. For example, index.php, whenever you just first start a website, you are actually visiting index.php of that website. If you just click on your blog in here and you just refresh the page from the start and just finish it up like this, and when this page refreshes, you are actually now in index.php file, and the index.php file actually gives you the ability to see its front page. If you just right click on it and edit it with Notepad or any other preferable Notepad you want, so here you would find actually a little bit of code. You might be confused that with such a little code, how could you create such a big thing? As you can see that in here. Let me discuss it. First, we are doing in here is using PHP language. Then we are calling a function called get_header. This is actually a function or a method, you can call it. And then what we are doing is we are getting this header. As we can see that this is actually the header. So this header and this header is coming from this function. And then we have actually the sidebar. So if you just get back and scroll to the bottom, this is actually the sidebar. So this sidebar is coming with the help of this function call. And get footer is actually the footer area, where this one is the footer area. So this function is coming from this call. In here you can see that we have a little bit of code in here, that if have post while have post in the post, this is actually the PHP code for the main content of the file, for making it possible that whether the posts are available or not. So if you get into the header.php, I'm just gonna minimize it once again and get into the header.php. Inside the header.php you can see that it's a bunch of code written for header, and header contains a lot of information about your website. For example, if you are just this header section, this whole header section has been actually manipulated by this header.php file, which contain to the file links to the style sheets and as well as all other pages you want. Then we can get back to index.php file and we can actually refer to the footer.php. Get_footer function is inside the footer.php file. So how could you access that? You're gonna just get back in here and click on the footer.php file, and this is actually what we have, a footer.php file which contains the copyright section of the WordPress. If you just get back in here, and this footer section is actually maintained by footer.php file in here. Similarly, what we have is, for example, if I just click on this hello world post, and here on I got a post in here. So now you might be thinking that whether it is still powering off by index.php. No, it's not. It is actually powering it off by single.php. Single.php is actually referring to a single post blog. It contains all the information which a single blog post needs to be. For example, it is actually similar in the way like index.php. It contains header, it contains sidebar, footer also, but the main content of this is actually, it is mainly used for maintaining a single post, nothing else than that. If you just get back in here, you will find a 404.php file. So what is 404.php file can do? Actually, 404.php file, for example, if you are trying to find out something like something that, and then it will give you error, that error 404 page not found, this section is actually maintained by this 404.php file. And as you can see, that error 404 page not found along with the header and all these sections. So as you can see that if you get back in here, the header remains intact, the bottom remains intact, the sidebar remains intact. As we can see that if you get back in here, we are actually calling the header, the bottom, the sidebar and the footer along with this single header file. And similarly, if you just get back in here, you will find actually out the the comment. So this comment is actually all the comments inside your theme is actually maintained by the comments.php file, and this is what we have in here. If you just click on it, you will find it out a bunch of code in here which is actually used to maintain all of your comments inside your blog post or in your dashboard. Similarly, we have actually the functions.php. This functions.php actually contain the main contents of your template. Like for example, if you come in here, you will find it out that what should be before the widget, after the widget, before the title, after the title, and as well as contains the jQuery kind of functionalities. All of the dynamic functionalities like jQueries, like JavaScript, all of these comes under the category of functions.php file. Moreover, if you just come in here, you will find it out different pages like page.php. So what is page.php? If you just click on it, page.php is actually when you are going to create a page inside your WordPress template, then you are actually manipulating this file, and this file contains all the information which you really need. Like for example, the header and footer has already been given out, and this content is actually used for managing the page. Once again, what we have is a sidebar. Sidebar is actually used for actually creating and manipulating your side area, which is actually this one. If you just scroll to the bottom, this section is actually manipulated by your sidebar or anything you want in that case. So in this way, the last one is actually archive.php. So what the archive.php can do, if you just get back in here, and if I just for example, I want to just remove this post out and click enter, and I will found actually archive for December 2013. So this section has been manipulated or is actually handled by archive.php. Moreover, the images are folder inside the images folder, the CSS style sheets are placed inside the CSS folder, the JavaScript is actually placed inside the JavaScript folder.